NBA trade rumors. Knicks actively shopping Karl-Anthony Towns in multi-team talks amid 4-game losing streak. The New York Knicks season has taken a sudden and unsettling turn, and league insiders believe major changes could be coming sooner rather than later. Amid a frustrating 4-game losing streak, new NBA trade rumors suggest the Knicks are actively shopping Karl-Anthony Towns in complex, multi-team trade discussions. What once seemed unthinkable is now gaining real traction around the league, and it speaks volumes about the growing urgency inside Madison Square Garden. Just weeks ago, the idea of the Knicks moving a star-caliber big man like Towns would have sounded absurd. But losses have a way of changing priorities. As the defeats have piled up, so have concerns about fit, consistency, and long-term direction. According to multiple league sources, New York's front office has begun exploring scenarios that would reshape the roster rather than simply tweak it. The 4-game skid has exposed several recurring issues. Defensive breakdowns, poor late-game execution, and inconsistent offensive flow have all been magnified. While Towns hasn't been the sole problem, insiders suggest he's become a focal point in internal evaluations about how this team functions at its highest level. Karl-Anthony Towns' talent has never been in question. A gifted scorer with range that stretches defenses and the ability to dominate inside, Towns brings a rare offensive skill set for a player his size. However, questions about defensive impact, physicality in high-pressure moments, and overall chemistry have followed him throughout his career, and those questions are now being asked loudly in New York. Sources close to the situation say the Knicks aren't desperate to dump Towns, but they are actively listening. That distinction matters. This isn't a fire sale, it's a calculated reassessment. The front office wants to know whether Towns is the right long-term piece next to the team's core, or if his value could be better leveraged to address multiple needs. That's where the multi-team aspect comes into play. Because of Towns' contract and salary structure, any deal involving him would almost certainly require 3 or more teams. Executives around the league view this as both a challenge and an opportunity. Towns' name alone carries weight, and several franchises are quietly monitoring the situation. For the Knicks, flexibility is the key motivation. A multi-team deal could allow them to move Towns while bringing back a combination of depth, defensive-minded players, draft assets, or cap relief. Rather than betting everything on one star, New York may be exploring a more balanced approach, especially given the way recent losses have unfolded. The losing streak has also amplified locker room tension. Body language has been scrutinized, on-court communication has broken down at times, and frustration has been visible during timeouts and bench moments. While no single player has been publicly blamed, league insiders say Towns' role within the offense has become a frequent topic of debate internally. Some within the organization believe the team plays its best basketball when the offense flows quickly and decisively. Others argue Towns needs more consistent touches to stay engaged and effective. That philosophical split is part of why trade talks have gained momentum. When roles aren't clearly defined, friction tends to follow. From Towns' perspective, the situation is equally complex. Being mentioned in trade rumors is nothing new for star players, but being actively shopped by a contender carries a different weight. How that impacts his confidence and on-court approach is something coaches and teammates are closely watching. Around the NBA, rival executives see this as a potential turning point for the Knicks. New York has spent years rebuilding its reputation, slowly transitioning from league punchline to legitimate playoff threat. Making a bold move now could either accelerate that progress, or set it back if mishandled. Several teams are believed to have at least preliminary interest. Franchises looking for front-court scoring, playoff experience, or a stretch big could view Towns as a missing piece. However, his contract means any suitor must be fully committed, both financially and strategically. The Knicks, meanwhile, are walking a fine line. Standing pat risks letting the season slip further away if the current formula doesn't improve. Acting too quickly could mean selling low or creating new problems while solving old ones. That's why these talks are reportedly exploratory rather than imminent. Still, the timing is telling. A 4-game losing streak may not sound catastrophic on paper, but context matters. These losses have come with alarming patterns, blown leads, defensive lapses, and stagnant stretches that suggest deeper issues. Front offices don't ignore those signs. Coaching decisions will also play a role in what happens next. Rotations, matchups, and late-game schemes have all been questioned during this rough stretch. If the staff believes certain pieces simply don't fit the system, that belief often makes its way to the front office. For fans, the rumors spark mixed emotions. Some see trading Towns as an admission that the experiment hasn't worked. Others view it as a proactive move that could prevent long-term stagnation. Either way, It's clear the Knicks are no longer content to simply ride things out. What happens next could define the season, and possibly the franchise's immediate future. If the Knicks find the right multi-team deal, they could emerge deeper, tougher, and better aligned with their identity. If talks stall, the pressure to win with the current roster will only intensify. One thing is certain, Karl-Anthony Towns' name being actively circulated signals a shift in mindset. The Knicks are evaluating everything, and no one appears untouchable. As the losing streak continues to fuel urgency, expect the trade rumors to grow louder and the stakes to rise even higher.